Back, we're going to take it in the trenches with my favorite group. I talk about it all the time because this is the group that acts best. This was the group that led the rally yesterday to give us clues that we could actually have that oversold bounce. And to me, the first stock that was on my radar that I put out a strategy for was Apple. If you take a look here, I'll show you what it did. Apple came in to the 50-day moving averages. The actual indices are well below the 200 and they were at the lows. Look how Apple held higher. It actually almost held the previous high before going underneath. You had a massive rally. I did get involved in some yesterday. I would say if we could trade through today's high, you have some resistance around 380, and then that momentum area where it broke down from. If you're an investor and you bought it at the 50-day moving average because that's on your plan, congratulations. Traders are going to look to see if we can get some follow through back into this 380, 385 before we get some massive resistance. Also yesterday, Amazon was a chosen one. It had great numbers. Obviously, it sold down on the numbers, so that was your clue to take some profits. It came into a big support area also. A lot of guys look to this as a leading indicator. Right now, the snapback happened. The question is, where's resistance going to come into play here? So if you look at Amazon, you will see that it also held a prior pivot. It held above, actually, the 200-day, took back the 50-day, and you have some room left to about 210, 212. So if you're playing it for an oversold bounce, just know that this is going to be a key resistance area, and you just had a nice move. If you're an investor and you had a great entry, just stick with that entry. I wouldn't add there yet. As far as the Chinese internet space, BIDU came down quick, but it also had a very potent up move yesterday. BIDU looked good yesterday. A lot of active traders got involved. Some active investors also at the right price took a look at it. If you look here at BIDU, you will see that BIDU came back and retested an area where it broke out from. It also had relative strength above the 200-day, took back the 50-day. I would say if you're in this, you have some room back to the 150 area, but that's where you could get some trouble. So as you can see here, what I'm outlining you is areas of where an easy bounce can happen and then where you might want to take some profits if we don't get further follow through, because there are going to be some big resistance levels to deal with even in the key stocks. So if you take a quick look at the last one here, Netflix, this was a little weaker. It broke that trend line. Remember, we talked about exiting it once it broke this trend line. Okay, so it came into the 200-day, held. Perhaps you get a bounce back to the 247 to 250 area, whereas it's going to have to deal with a lot of resistance. I did say Netflix would be the last one. I lied. Google's the last one. Google held that 540 level we talked about. I do think that Google has some room back to about 580 before you have to worry about some big resistance.